What's up, Nightmare fans? It's your boy Glitchmare, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're diving into some seriously creepy stuff. Scary notes left behind by the survivors of Raccoon City. These haunting messages are the last things people wrote before everything went to hell. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash the bell so you don't miss any nightmares, and let's jump straight into it.
It's only been 3 days. 3 days. And yet, it feels like it's been an eternity. The first day was nothing. I mean, yeah, there was chaos, but I thought it was just another random outbreak. Maybe it was some gang turf war or a new viral scare. I was just sitting at my desk in that shitty office building on Main Street, listening to the sirens and trying to block out the news reports about people attacking each other. People always panic, right? But then the power went out. I should have known better. That's when it all started, the moment the lights flickered off. I went down to the street to grab some air. The city was on fire. People were tearing each other apart. And I mean literally tearing each other apart. I ran back inside, locked the door behind me, and sat there in silence, my hands shaking. Night fell, and it felt wrong. The whole city was like a wounded animal, moaning in pain, waiting for the final blow. I could hear the screams from the street. It was only the beginning. I thought I could sleep through it, but I didn't. I couldn't. There was something in the building, something scratching at the doors, dragging itself down the hallways. I should have been smarter than that, but instead I grabbed a wrench from under my desk, went out into the hallway, and there it was. I'll never forget the first time I saw one of them. It was Mrs. Liddell, the elderly woman who lived on the second floor. She was hunched over something, eating it. I thought it was an animal at first, but when she turned to look at me, her face was wrong. Her eyes were gone, replaced with dark holes, and her mouth was smeared with blood. I didn't even get the chance to scream before she lunged at me. I barely made it back to my apartment, heart racing, breath caught in my throat. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. The next day, I ran out of the building, desperate to find help. But when I stepped outside, the world was already gone. Fires blazed across the skyline. The streets were filled with bodies, some still moving, others not. I tried to make it to the police station. I thought maybe someone could help me. But what I found was worse than anything I could have imagined. Inside the station, there was no sign of life, no police. Just the sounds of something dragging itself across the floor. It was a man, a cop, I think. Or he used to be. His face was a mangled mess, half rotted away, with a bullet hole through his head. But the thing about him, he was still moving. His eyes were still alive enough to look at me and smile. I ran again, through the city, down the alleyways, trying to make sense of what was happening. I heard screaming, lots of screaming, but the screams weren't from people anymore. They were from something else. I met a guy along the way, name's Victor, a survivor, like me. He seemed like he had a plan. A safe house, he said. He had supplies, weapons, everything. And for a while, I thought maybe we could make it. But as we got closer, I realized it was too quiet, too quiet. The safe house was supposed to be an abandoned warehouse, but when we got inside, we realized it wasn't empty. It was filled with them. There was blood everywhere, the walls, the floors. There was a trail leading to a door in the back, and that's where we found the others, a group of survivors. Or at least, that's what they looked like at first. But when they turned to us, their faces, God, their faces were like a puzzle, pieces of skin and bone stitched together, like something had just taken what it could get. Victor, he tried to shoot them, but it was no use. The bullets didn't stop them. And then it hit me, the smell of rotting meat. The survivors weren't the only ones in that warehouse. Something worse was in there too, something watching us. I heard it moving behind the walls, its growls echoing. I can still hear it, even now. Its breath, ragged and wet, was right behind me as I wrote this. I ran out of that warehouse, left Victor behind, left everyone behind. It's been hours since then. I've found a hiding spot, a small basement beneath an old diner. I don't know what's going on. The whole city feels like a tomb now. Everyone's gone. Everyone's either dead or turned, but I'm still here, just barely. But I can feel it. It's still out there. The thing in the warehouse, and it's not alone. If you're reading this, I'm already gone. And if you're here, you probably don't have long either. Don't trust anyone. Don't stay. Raccoon City is dead. If you see them, don't try to fight. Just run.
My name's Derek. I didn't think this would happen to me. It started 3 nights ago. God, was it only 3 nights? It feels like years. I was sitting in my apartment, flipping channels, trying to ignore the chaos outside. The news kept showing clips of riots, people biting each other, cops getting overwhelmed. It didn't feel real. Then the power went out, and everything changed. I live on the 6th floor of a crappy building on 9th Street. The halls always reeked of mildew and burnt popcorn, but that night, it smelled like blood. I stepped out to check the hallway. Stupid, I know, but curiosity gets the better of you when you're clueless. The first thing I saw was Mr. Peterson, my neighbor. He was eating someone. I think it was Mrs. Baker from 6B. Her throat was gone, and he was gnawing on her arm like it was a drumstick. He looked up at me, blood dripping from his mouth, and those eyes, those milky, dead eyes. I ran. I slammed the door behind me and shoved my dresser in front of it. I didn't sleep that night. I could hear them, more of them, shuffling, moaning, scratching at doors. Screams echoed down the halls. I'll never forget the sound of my neighbor's door being broken down, her screams turning into gurgles. God, I should have done something the next day. Or maybe it was the same day, I don't even know anymore. I realized I couldn't stay. The food in my fridge was going bad, and the water had stopped running. So I grabbed a baseball bat, a flashlight, and my dad's old combat knife. I thought I'd just sneak out, find some help, maybe the police station. But when I opened the door, the hallway was silent, too silent. The kind of silence that makes your skin crawl. I made it to the stairwell, and that's when I heard her. A woman's voice shouting. She was down in the lobby, pinned behind some overturned furniture. I don't know what came over me. Maybe I just didn't want to be alone anymore. I rushed down, bat in hand, and swung at the thing that was stalking her. It went down, but it wasn't dead. They don't die unless you crush their heads. She told me that. Her name was Jill. I didn't know it then, but she was a cop. Or something like it. She had this look about her, tough, determined, like she'd seen hell and wasn't afraid to walk through it again. She told me to stick with her, that she knew a safe place. I should have known better. There's no such thing as safe. We were heading down Fifth Avenue when we heard it, this deep, guttural growl that shook my bones. Jill froze, her eyes wide. "Run," she said. I didn't ask questions. We bolted down an alley, but the thing, it followed us. I got my first look at it when it smashed through a brick wall like it was paper. It was huge, easily 7 feet tall, maybe more. Its skin looked like it had been stitched together, and its face was hidden behind some kind of mask. It carried this massive weapon, like a rocket launcher or something. Jill fired at it, but it barely flinched. Then its eyes locked onto me. I don't know why it came after me. Jill said it was hunting her, but for some reason, it decided I was worth chasing. Maybe I got in its way, or maybe it just liked the way I screamed. Either way, it wouldn't stop. No matter where I ran, it found me. I could hear its heavy boots pounding behind me, that horrible growl getting closer and closer. I thought I was dead when it cornered me in an old diner. I hid in the kitchen, clutching my bat, waiting for it to break through the door. Then Jill showed up. She blasted it with a grenade launcher, and for a moment, I thought we had it. But it got back up. It always got back up. Jill told me to run while she held it off. I didn't want to leave her, but what choice did I have? I ran, and I didn't look back. Now I'm here, hiding in some abandoned warehouse on the edge of the city. I can still hear it out there, searching for me. It's been hours, or maybe days. I'm not sure anymore. I'm so tired. My legs won't stop shaking, and my hands won't stay steady enough to write this. But I need to get it all down. Someone needs to know what happened here. If you're reading this, stay away from Raccoon City. Don't try to be a hero, just run. And if you see that thing, that monster, good luck. And God help us all. Derek.
It started like any other night. I was at the store on 4th and Maple, just trying to make it through another shift. The streets were quiet. The only sound was the hum of the freezer and the occasional car that drove past. Then the sirens started. At first, we thought it was just another drill, another scare. But something felt different. People weren't acting like they normally did. They were nervous, like they knew something we didn't. The first scream came from down the street, high-pitched, like a child, followed by a loud crash. I went to the window and saw it, a man running, but not just running. He was stumbling as if something was chasing him. He wasn't alone. Behind him, there was something else, a huge figure, moving so fast that it didn't look human. It was tall, wearing a black coat, and it didn't move like the others. It was relentless. It didn't hesitate or stumble. It just pursued. I don't know what that thing was, but I knew it wasn't something I wanted to meet. The man kept running, his breath ragged, sweat pouring down his face. Then he turned the corner and disappeared. The figure didn't stop. It kept moving, like it was searching for something, for someone. I don't know if it saw me watching, but it didn't seem to care about me. It was after him, and nothing was going to stop it. I tried to stay calm, but my heart was pounding in my chest. I knew I had to leave. I couldn't stay in that store, not with whatever that was out there. But as I was grabbing my things, someone burst through the door. A woman. She was covered in dirt, her clothes torn, her eyes wide with panic. She didn't look at me, didn't even notice me. She just ran straight to the back, as if she knew the layout of the place like she had been here before. Her face, I don't know why, but it reminded me of someone. Maybe it was the way she moved, the way her eyes darted around, or maybe it was the way she was running as if she had no time to lose. I heard something outside, a loud crash, followed by shuffling footsteps, growing louder. My instincts told me to run, get out, but I couldn't. I couldn't leave her, not now. I followed her to the back of the store. She was digging through the cabinets, grabbing whatever supplies she could. I don't know why, but I asked, "Who are you?" She didn't answer. Instead, she looked up, eyes wide, as if hearing something behind me. Then she shoved me toward the back door, whispering, "Get out, it's coming." I didn't question it. I ran. Outside, the air was thick, heavy with smoke. The streets were chaos. People running, screaming, crashing into each other. But that's when I saw him again. The figure, that thing in the coat, moving slowly, deliberately. I could feel its eyes on me, even though it wasn't looking at me. It was scanning the street, looking for someone. And then, it was gone. Just like that. Swallowed by the night. I didn't know what to do. I kept running, not knowing where to go. Not knowing who to trust. The woman, the one who'd been in the store, was nowhere to be seen. I wandered through the streets, trying to avoid the broken glass and the bodies littering the road. The lights flickered in the distance, casting shadows on the buildings. And then, I heard something. Footsteps, heavy ones. I turned and saw her again. The woman from the store, her face drained of color. She was running, stumbling. But she was running. She wasn't far from me, but the thing that had been hunting her, it was behind her, closing in. She wasn't just running from any creature. No, this was different. The monster, it was almost like it was waiting. It wasn't chasing her the way the others did. It was hunting her with purpose, like it knew exactly who she was, what she was. She ran right past me, not seeing me, and I knew I couldn't help her. There was nothing I could do, and then I heard it. A loud, guttural roar, a sound that made my blood run cold. The ground shook beneath me as that thing, the creature, came into view, its massive form appearing out of the shadows. Its coat flapped behind it, and its eyes, those cold, soulless eyes, never once left her. I don't know what happened to her. I don't know if she survived, but I do know this. That thing wasn't after me. It wasn't after anyone else in the street. It was after her. I'm not brave. I just want to survive. But now I'm not even sure if survival means anything anymore. If you're reading this, stay hidden. Don't trust anyone. If that thing is hunting her, if it's still out there, don't look back. Sincerely, a fellow survivor.
All right, survivors, that's all for today's deep dive into the notes left behind in Raccoon City. Leave a comment and let me know, what would you have done if you were there? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more creepy content coming your way. Stay safe, and as always, keep exploring the mysteries of the world. Catch you in the next one.